Hello, this video is not sponsored. I bought this CaDA brand Japanese Sushiya Shop, as it's called officially, or Sushi Shop, for $66 US on Amazon. Its original retail price, though, is $90 US, and I personally did not want to buy it for $90 when it first came out, and I'm glad that I waited. This has 1,665 pieces, and most of the decorations that you see, like the graphic elements, are actually done with stickers. This also comes with one minifigure, but I'll show you that later. This is intended to be kind of a corner unit, and the form factor is 32 studs deep and 16 studs wide, so it's essentially one half of a modular building. Around the back here, obviously, you've got a fair amount of texture, but not a whole lot of change of color, not a whole lot of interesting color blocking, so it's not the most interesting to look at here, but not too unrealistic, honestly. However, this side is just as plain as it could possibly get, with the exception of the one little ad down here and the one window. However, this is intended to be put directly next to another building. You can see how you've got the two connection points, and you can change kind of adjust the spacing of the pins as you need to connect to other systems of buildings that you might be interested in or might have. Window up here, open, close, sliding. Doors down here, open, close, sliding. These down here actually have one sticker on each, but they're difficult to see. But again, each of these slides off to the side. So the one to the right slides to the right, one to the left slides to the left. Unfortunately, there's an issue here. Once this one on the right is slid all the way over, it's difficult to get it back. You have to kind of stick your finger up in here to get just a little bit of purchase on it, and then it gets stuck a little bit. Just not the best design in here. And also, unfortunately, these windows, look at that. It just happened. That's perfect. They tend to fall out, so the part quality there just isn't quite right. I don't know if the window frame piece is a little bit worn out, like that mold's a little bit worn out, but I found that those kind of glass inserts there fall way too easily and could actually benefit from a little bit of non-permanent glue. I do like, and I did say glue, sorry about that, but it's true. I do like the variety of foliage out here. Each of these gets built up and it's kind of its own nice little thing. You know, it's nice to have that variety. You also have a couple of shoes back there, just a couple pieces each represented by the door. And I like that you've got some different colors of stones down here. Like the presentation of this here is pretty nice. It's just really unfortunate about the doors, and we're not able to see in there very much right now. That will change. Don't worry. I'll show you the interior and some nice, particularly nice features about this, including one that's fairly surprising. So once again, stickers, 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 sticker up here. At least they're nice. I mean, these are intended to go, this is actually across two pieces. It's two stickers though, so they don't actually cross there. But you know, you want to definitely align those. The closer, the better. The better of a look. I like these textured pieces here. You saw one on the other side as well, the textured window pieces. And these slats are nice. They actually have windows behind them as well. A little bit of electrical box simulated over here. And this door, this side door, is actually built up custom. You know, it's fully a brick-built door, which is interesting. It's nice to have something a little bit different like that. Now, speaking of different, the way that this opens is very interesting. It doesn't have the typical style of taking the roof off and then taking the upper floor off. You take an entire side off and the back and the roof all at one time. See that? All of that comes together. So this is actually fairly simple and fairly lightweight. It doesn't waste a lot of pieces. As a matter of fact, the whole thing wastes very few pieces. I feel like it was a fairly efficient build. I did find that, again, the part quality just wasn't quite what I'm used to, quite what I want to see. Some of the pieces end up leaving gaps, and it's because other pieces next to them, kind of in line, aren't kind of settling in all the way. There's a tiny bit of difference in color. Like you can see, the gray pieces don't have that great consistency in here. I can see at least three different colors of gray. It's subtle, but it's definitely noticeable. Some people would say, hey, that actually makes it look better. It makes it look, it's like patina, but we never pay. I think we're never paying for poor quality control or poor color consistency. So I have to definitely ding that as a negative. Now, when I pulled this off, you may have noticed something weird back here. This is a plug for a light unit. This is USB-A right here, and you're intended to route the wires out through a window. I'll get to that in a minute, but first let's just take a look at the interior. I guess I'll start with the upper floor because it's convenient. And again, you're not intended to remove the floors here. Now, this is very interesting. The tatami is all built sideways. You can see exactly what pieces are used for the texture there, which is nice. Strangely, underneath here is all a tiled off surface, and they have, in my opinion, too many tiles. It's very large tiles placed on plates just directly, and CaDA pieces tend to have just a little bit more clutch power. They're just a little bit more difficult to push together than you may be used to from other brands, just slightly, very, very slightly. But as a result, when you have very large plates or tiles that you're putting together, those really require a lot of force. And it just didn't seem like something that is particularly newcomer friendly. I think, you would end up having some bulges if you didn't really push down on there really hard. Got an old CRT TV over here that actually, the screen is actually across 3 different separate pieces right there. These cushions have nice edge-to-edge stickers actually, and then the bed has a pair of stickers. There's also one sticker used over there. There's nothing inside here, and this is one of the LED light units. The other one is underneath, basically under this floor. Got an ad over here, stairway up. And you already see that the wiring is possibly an issue. The stairs don't have anything underneath them except for the entrance over on this side. There's a little bit of room for somebody to walk in on the other side of that door. But down here is where you actually get your food, and you see the other light unit here. So I might as well at least plug this in now, huh? The light is okay. Unfortunately, there's a piece on the underside of it that, so this is a 2x2 brick that you actually run the LED inclusive wire around. It's basically just a fairy light, just a single string of fairy light. You run it around inside of there, around the main tube inside, and then you seal it off on the underside with a round plate. Unfortunately, that round plate is opaque, so it's blocking a lot of light from coming down here. Also, there's a specific number of turns you're supposed to use in there. I wasn't able to find the exact number that really fit perfectly in there. If I turn it off, you can see, you actually have to turn the wire around with the LEDs in there. It's very awkward. The thing is, if you try to wrap the wire directly around the central tube there, use that as your gauge for consistent diameter. I guess that's too thin, but then I don't know. It just doesn't really work out well. They give you some suggestions. It's finicky and it's odd, and I ended up having one extra light just free here. I don't think that there's any way that I could put enough of this wire into here and here to fully retract this. And then if I did, I might not have enough of this thinner wire sticking out. I don't know, it just all gets awkward. Here's another thing that gets awkward. The plug, so I'm just using a USB power bank over here. The plug has a button on it to turn it on, right? So you push that button. Wait, is it on? No, there we go. There, okay. So it's got this pulsating effect right now, a different pulsating effect. I'm just pushing the button again and again. Now it's kind of flashing a little bit. I push it again, pulsing again. I push it again, flashing. Too much strobing, that's too much. I push it again. You have to push it 8 times to get to just a continuous on. On should be one button. And then to get, if you're going to have other effects, then push it more than that. You should be able to do one button on, one button off. I will say I pretty much like the interior detail, although you're still not able to see all that much of it. You pretty much just see the customer side of it here because the other side isn't able to be opened up. And again, you're not able to remove the roof or the floor up above here. And there you can see that door piece or that window pane piece that accidentally pushed in, that basically you have to not touch that door. At least with the parts that I got, I have to not touch that door. This is awkward, isn't it? I like that. I like the bamboo back in the corner, but we've got lights in here, but we're still not able to see the lower section. So it's really not giving me the full effect of a lighted kit. With everything put back together, there's the window that you're intended to run this wire out. So You see, again, once you just don't have a very neat place to put that, but at least it only gets pinched a little bit when you close that window down. It's really not going to damage the wire. And then you have the option of running it towards the back or out to the side, whatever's convenient for where you are. You're not able to see inside around this part. You're not really able to see any of the light here. You can see a little bit of light inside through these slats, but not much, honestly. And then if you get really, really lower than we are right now, let's see if I can angle this back a little bit. You can see some light inside, but honestly, not as much as you should be able to see. If only that 2x2 round piece on the bottom of the LED unit had been, I think, transparent, it probably would have allowed more light to come through. I just noticed that this isn't quite settled properly. Sorry about that. This one was a little bit awkward to put together, as was this, but it's just a matter of needing patience and needing to watch or pay attention to the instructions. Up here, now there you can clearly see the light. It looks like a bedroom lamp. Okay, that's good. And you can see it around this side as well a bit. Honestly, the light is not a big draw of this set, and it wasn't even promoted very, very strongly as one of the main features of the set. So I'm not too mad about that. I do like simplicity. I think that some manufacturers probably do more than is needed to make effective lighting in a building sort of thing. I think that using a simple thing like a fairy light can definitely work. I've done it myself in some custom things, but this way ain't it. Having to wrap the thing around inside of this little brick and then cap it off. It's kind of a failure there. And then we have a lot of parts here that aren't as good a quality as I personally would like. Everything is done with stickers. I think it looks nice. I'm happy with the end result, but the build process left me feeling like it was a little bit lacking. And I personally am glad that I didn't buy it for $90. If I bought it for $90, I would have felt kind of disappointed in the value. At between $60 and $70, it feels much better to me. It definitely feels like it's more in the range. Even forget about the light, and then account for the fact that I do need to probably add a little bit of glue to those windows, just a little bit around the edges, some contact cement or something. It does have stickers again. The stickers are nice quality. I like them. Would have preferred prints, of course, but yeah, overall the value doesn't feel bad in the $60 to $70 range. But there's one more thing that I haven't shown you yet. This is the included minifigure. I don't believe that this is supposed to be included in the Western market because the company that does these has a trademark on most of these shapes. So I probably got one that was intended for other markets where that trademark is not protected, but expect to not get this, I would say. And it wasn't advertised that this would be included in the particular one that I got. Interesting printing on here with an extra layer of varnish. It actually is. It's kind of pillowed. It's actually raised up a little bit and protected, which is interesting. You have pretty standard articulation here, except the wrists have ball joints, so they can slightly go side to side and up and down. And the neck has a ball joint, so you can do this, nah, 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 nah. And you can also angle it up and down. That's nice. I like that integration there. And again, the print quality is, I think, fine. And again, minifigures are just super contentious. Anytime I say, hey, if you don't like this figure, just don't worry about it. Then people are like, I actually like that figure. And if I say, hey, this is not a bad figure, then people are like, I hate that figure. So no matter what I say, people will be very, very against what I say. So I'm just showing you the thing. And again, noting that these probably shouldn't be included due to the trademark thing in most markets, at least of viewers of my channel. At the end of the day, this is somewhat of a miss, isn't it? I'm not mad at it. It doesn't have anything about it that I found to be particularly frustrating beyond just the doors pushing in. But there are a lot of decisions that were made in the design that I feel are kind of head scratchers that just don't make that much sense. The way that the lighting was done, I mean, it's totally just an aftermarket thing. It's just pasted on to be able to check the box saying, hey, we have lights, and they just didn't do a good job with it. But access into this, being able to see that lower floor, the original designer of this didn't design it for lights, and they didn't make it so that you could really see the most interesting stuff that's built inside. The top is cool and all, and completely open when you take the roof and the side off. But it's relatively empty. And the good stuff is down here, in my opinion, and it's just not that visible or accessible. So in the end, I end up with something that looks pretty nice from two sides, looks okay from the back, and doesn't look good at all from this side, although that's not necessarily unrealistic to the style of building this is based off, and it is intended to go next to other buildings. It was fun to build this little specialized door, but it doesn't match the style of everything else. Oh, my bad. It just got stuck. Yeah, I need to rebuild that. I think that was my mistake. I just hit it at the wrong angle, but still maybe something to watch out for. Yeah. All in all, again, I'm not mad at it through it all, but I hope that I've shown you a lot of quirks and a lot of mistakes and a lot of not so fortunate things about this that will help you to form your own conclusions. And, you know, if you're still interested in this, at least you know what to expect, and hopefully your expectations won't be set unreasonably high. If you weren't looking to get this, hey, maybe I've shown you some things about it, about its size, that maybe you actually want to buy, if you can find it at a good discount, a nice solid discount like I did. Either way, I hope that I've provided some value here with this video, and I thank you for watching. Bye for now.